Hello everyone, Dan14th Prime here. I want to do a video share today with you guys, taking an overview of higher end Transformers statue collectibles. If you follow the channel, you know I'm a big Transformers fan, and over the past several years my collection has been involving more and more statues into the mix. You can check out my collection update videos if you're interested in seeing my overall collection and what I collect. But being a big Transformers fan, I'm definitely interested in getting some statue pieces, and there's a lot out there to choose from all price points and sizes. I want to take some time today to walk through those and give you the overview, because there is really something for everyone out here. And even though a lot of us in the Transformers space love our masterpiece figures and third-party figures, I will say as someone who's gotten more into statues and things like that in my other collecting, despite the fact that they don't transform, despite the fact they don't articulate, they are awesome representations of the characters, and really for display are probably the best thing you can be putting on your shelf. So with that, let's jump right in here. We're going to go sort of from low to high, kind of entry level, all the way up to very high-end collecting. We'll start out here with the Pop Culture Shock Classic Scale, a G1 line. You're sort of in like the 150 to 250 price range here, but these are sort of like 10-inch scale statues. Very G1 tune accurate, even down to just having some of these kind of wonky G1 lines. It's got that very cool cell shading and very true G1 colors, and you can even see offers some swap out options. So Optimus Prime here, he's already available. He's in stock out here at Sideshow. Link down in the description below if you're interested in picking him up. Any shopping you do through the links below just supports the channel at no cost to you, and I do very much appreciate that. So with Sideshow, you'll pay tax and shipping. That being said, when things come in stock, they often drop $25 off coupons, so it takes care of a lot of that additional cost. You can see the rest of these are pre-orders. You got a Nemesis Prime, the Soundwave, which looks really cool, and the Grimlock. To show you the Soundwave here, comes third quarter of this year. Again, a swap out there with the cannon arm, and he's got what I'm going to call Frenzy there on the base as well. So again, you can jump down through the links below and come out and check these out. And the benefits are really price point. It's probably about as entry level as you're going to get in terms of at least a nice statue. Sideshow is going to be a good place to go. Big Bad Toy Store as well. And really the only watch out is just make sure you like this G1 aesthetic and cell shading, because it can almost make these things look like cardboard cutouts kind of. It's very strange when you see them in person. But probably check out some videos before you pull the trigger and just make sure you're comfortable with that. So if we move up one level here, we get what's becoming an emerging line. That is the ThreeA deluxe scale action figures. Not technically statues, these are very high quality action figures. They really display and have the presence of a similar scale statue, they just happen to be articulated. I'm out here on Sideshow, again, link down in the description below. You can get Soundwave and Ravage for $250, and he'll come towards the end of this year. Again, just to give you a sense of what that looks like, these are Bumblebee movie inspired decos. Here they go more towards the movie side of things. You can see what you all get with these types of figures in terms of some accessories, a stand, etc. Here on Big Bad Toy Store, I've actually found a lot of the deluxe scales for a good price, and I guess backup for another round of pre-order, it looks like. So they've got the Bumblebee for $145, Optimus for $189, the Soundwave for $200, and the Blitzwing there for $189 as well. Which I believe in that, call it 12-inch scale, it's a little bit less I believe, is all the figures thus far. So they're building some breadth to this line. Again, very movie accurate, just really great figures, I think, for a very, very good price. But this next line up here, I'm just going to make mention of it. Exact pricing, I'm sure I could find it maybe out there on a video, but I'm not exactly certain offhand. It's not easy to find, but XM has got like a 1/20th scale line, which at this point they've only teased at conventions. I thought this was actually going to be available like only in a set. They've got Starscream there. Here they're teasing Bumblebee out here. But again, there's a whole lineup of these, actually, a whole set in 1/20th scale, so maybe they're 12 inches or so, very museum-esque poses. But the main thing is they're not painted, they're just like silver. And I think there's also some gold ones that are more exclusive or something you can get. So if that works for you, you could wait for these to come out, or maybe you could even have them custom painted. Again, I don't have a lot of details, but there's definitely some convention videos out there where you would find them and see a bit more on the pricing and stuff. But really just a heads up here, something of that scale and style would interest you, that something's coming. So go do some more research on it, or just stay tuned, because it's still very early at this point. If we go then to the next level up, we come to Imaginarium Art, specifically their Legacy of Cybertron line, which is really a statue line that is line priced at $400 across the board. I think in the US, Big Bad Toy Store is really the place to go get these. These are a pretty good value for 400 bucks. Again, some of these they're probably like 15 inches on average, let's say. Megatron holding that cube up in the air is probably going to be even taller. You get a G1 inspired but very much contemporary sculpt with this line. And as this tends to be the case across the board with Imaginarium Arts, you get like this very metallic color basis, which for me I think just kind of depends piece by piece. Sometimes it looks better than others. Here I think the Starscream looks really good. Looks very much G1 inspired color scheme. It kind of, again, contemporary G1 sculpt, but still has some gloss to it, right? Whereas the Megatron we just looked at, for example, was just like pure sheen, very shiny silver. Here I think this Jazz looks very good as well. So a lot of nice pieces here. Again, for me, the watch out's always just the colors and the gloss that they're choosing. I don't feel they're consistent with that piece by piece, and therefore some are better than others. But they do have pretty good breadth to this line as well. Perhaps some have sold out, but they've got Thundercracker there, Starscream, Megatron, Jazz, Ironhide, Skywarp. I know there's an Optimus Prime. Perhaps that's sold out, but pretty good breadth to that statue line. I think more on the way. So if we go a level up from that even, we come back to ThreeA, and I guess kind of their old format. Again, there's this whole 3A, 3.0 split that has been occurring. 3.0 is now really the deluxe line, but 3A had been long making these premium scale figures, which are more like 18, 19 inch, at least for the large guys. Highly articulated, just awesome looking, movie accurate figures. Again, largely only doing movie theme here with just a couple of exceptions. But again, I'm out here on Sideshow. Again, link down in the description below. You can see Megatron, Bumblebee, Blitzwing, and really if what's long sold out, you have to go out to eBay to get, and you'll find them in my collection, are things like last night Bumblebee and Optimus Prime. Those are awesome, awesome figures. You'll find them in my collection video. And those typically would have been like $450 retail, but in the secondary market, you can see people ask a lot for them, and they still sell for a lot. I don't know if it would sell for that much, but highly desirable. If you can get one at a good price, I think these are awesome movie representations of the figure. Make it great for display as well. These figures do often have exclusives, which you would typically get when you buy directly from the Bambaland overseas store. For example, I bought this Optimus Prime, $450, shipped to my door, which included the exclusive, which was a secondary head for this piece. Again, for this Bumblebee, I don't remember how much it was, maybe $350 or $400. Included his arm cannon as the exclusive. Again, you had to get that directly from Bambaland. So if you're shopping for those, make sure you understand the exclusive or not. And again, you'd need to be in the aftermarket to try to pick up some of those figures. So now here we make a pretty big jump. Everything heretofore has been kind of $150 to $450-ish retail at least. Now we come back to pop culture shock, museum line statues. Again, you can get these at Sideshow or Big Bad Toy Store. Though Sideshow does have some distribution rights with PCS and therefore adds some exclusives that might interest you. And it's all done in theme, very similar to their classic scale. So this is the whole lineup here. And again, here's the classic scales that we looked at earlier. And here's the museum scale. So you start to be in the $750 to $800 price point. And this is all they have so far, which is basically all the three Seekers. They're really just paint variants that are on of each other, though I think Starscream comes with a lot of swap outs that the others don't. These other two are just incredibly low edition sizes. I think maybe 75 a pop. And then we got Optimus and Megatron here, and Sideshow offers these Energon Axe and Energon Mace as the exclusives here. So these statues still have a decent lot size. I think it's 400 of the exclusive, 800 of the collectors, so 1,200 total pieces. Pretty pricey at $800. Again, you see there the exclusive that you'll get with Sideshow. The Megatron looks really nice. I think it's the better of the ones that they've done. Again, G1 aesthetic, like to the nines, right? And then the cell shading kind of over the top of that. And I think also comes with some very impressive bases at this scale. So here you can see you'll kind of be in this 25 inches height sort of range for these statues, and 18 to 20 inch sort of circular diameter bases. So they're big because the bases are simple and you're really just getting all figure, which is a lot to explain the pretty high price at $800. Here you've got the Starscream. I guess they even do have an exclusive being the Megatron gun here at Sideshow. The main thing with him, I think, is just all the different ways you can position his arms, and he's got assorted faces as well. And you can see all the types of display options you get with the arms here, how you can just swap those around, and also the portraits. The Starscream piece is probably the most flexible one with options that they have made thus far. So still a pretty young line, you know, they've just got those 5 pieces thus far. Haven't seen anything else previewed yet, but hopefully they would continue to build that out. If we take the next step up, we come back to Imaginarium Art. And you'll recall they have the lower end Legacy of Cybertron line for $400 across the board. Well, their main line, which they don't sub-brand, is just the Imaginarium Art Transformers Generation line, where most figures fall in the kind of $950 to $1350 price, but they do have some big exceptions like this Grimlock you're looking at here for about $2,200. Again, that's shipped, so Big Bad Toy Store offers shipped prices for these. And again, in the US, Big Bad Toy Store is really the place to get these Imaginarium Art statues. This one's like a diorama really with Grimlock and then all the Sharkticons and Wheelie up top. And again, a G1 contemporary sculpt in a paint where I think they try to draw a lot of the color inspiration from G1, but they take some liberties from time to time, but they definitely make it all metallic. But I think for this piece, it does work well. Now you would have saw the Optimus Prime here on this channel. I owned this piece for a little bit. It had some issues, so I had to return it, and I didn't repurchase it. These pics make it look better than it is, but fairly decent color choice, sort of, but actually the blue is way, way lighter than what shows up here. And for me, really, really ruins this piece. If the blue was as dark as it looked in these pics, it would be good. But it's not. It's much lighter. So this is where you got to watch out for this line, like their color choices and how it works on the figure and on the piece. For example, when you compare and contrast that Prime to the Soundwave here, it's what makes no sense is the color choices. This is very much more G1, and the colors are flatter. This was really the statue that put them on the map. Sold out very quickly. Then the weird thing also with Imaginarium Art sometimes is pieces start showing back up again, so kind of wonder what's being limited. On this one, I think what they did though is sort of redo an exclusive and add some more of the minions in. So that's how they sort of excused the creating of more pieces. But the paint here and the deco and the glossiness of it, it's way better than, for example, the Prime. And just for you to know, the Starscream on Throne, which is probably also one of their most epic pieces ever, which sold out, again, oddly back up for PO. I don't understand that, but that's a monster piece, a grail. The Ultra Magnus is up. Again, this is one of their first designs and prototypes. I honestly don't know if it was made before, but from a G1 color perspective, it's awesome. Right on point. Like they nailed that. Much better than the Prime. Down here, the Rodimus Prime was awesome as well. Here, the high gloss really worked because the color choices were dark and much better. And this guy sold out here pretty quick. This Devastator sold out in a couple months. Maybe they'll come back in stock. Big Bad Toy Store always seems to kind of, again, get some extra from time to time, and they come back in stock, so you can watch that. But for me, Imaginarium Arts, it would be perfect if they would just come back through and just do a true G1 paint scheme. Then I would be all over these pieces. But as it stands right now, they're so inconsistent with paint and gloss, low gloss, dark colors, light colors, that kind of turned me off to them a bit, at least in terms of trying to collect. Well, either certain key pieces, like I mentioned, like Prime, which I had and took back, or even trying to go across the line and get a few more. So next up here, we have XM Studios. And these next two, which is going to be XM and Prime 1, they're kind of neck and neck to be the very, very top. We'll just deal with XM first here. Huge statues, which they have in 1/10 scale, but it's massive. It's 1/10 of a Transformer. So they've got the Optimus Prime out. It's shipping or shipped. They got a Grimlock on PO, which is massive. Starscream is out here. And you see some more Imaginarium Art stuff. You can get that here at Spec Fiction. And then Bumblebee as well. So that's kind of what's available. And they've got more coming. They've teased Soundwave among many others. So if we jump in here, again, these are highly stylized. Well, not highly. They're G1 true, but they're definitely stylized and more contemporary designs. My one knock on them is going to be the head sculpts. Prime's maybe not the worst, but some of these head sculpts get what I'd call very humanoid looking and don't stay as true to Transformers as they should. These pieces come with these proximity pieces, which are like statues unto themselves. So when we start to talk about price here, where a lot of these are going to be $2,000 and up, because you have to go through resellers like Spec Fiction. They don't actually have distribution rights XM in the US. So you're kind of like buying retail internationally, plus shipping it in for sometimes $500 or more to ship it. So you start to clear easily $2,000. This proximity piece here, I mean, this thing is probably worth $300 to $500 itself. So that's why you start to see the pieces be so expensive. All kinds of swap outs on this guy with guns, jetpacks, light ups. Really is an epic piece. So you're really high end here. See here at Spec Fiction, $1,900, which is again kind of the international retail for this guy. It looks like he's in stock right now. The Optimus is, but again, $485 to ship it. So you're going to be damn near $2,500. Not sure what these guys do with sales tax. We jump over to the Grimlock, for example, $1,700 if you paid everything now except shipping, $1,900 otherwise. Shipping is still TBD on this, but I guarantee you it will be more than the Optimus, because this piece is epically massive, just insanely massive. And here's his proximity piece of his little alt mode. They've all got those. Very cool. And then here, just to come back to my knock, the Starscream, again, like the humanoid head. Starscream is probably the worst of them. For me, I don't like how that looks. It just doesn't look like Starscream to me. It doesn't look like a Transformer's face. Probably the coolest proximity piece with Starscream, though. Again, looks like he's about $1,600, but for some reason would be even $650 shipped. So again, you jump over $2,000. And then someone like your Bumblebee and Spike team up here is about as entry level as you can get right now with them. Probably $1,200 all in if you did it as cheaply as possible with the prepayment. But he is much smaller than the ones we have just looked at before. So epic, super expensive, but if you want the best, this could be it. But you gotta like it like 100%, no excuses. And for me, I'm still got this sort of excuse, at least with wanting like maybe the Optimus, too pricey to like go collecting the line for this thing. But if you wanted to get one epic piece, still have this sort of complaint with like the head sculpt, not exactly looking like how it should look for me. Here you've actually got the Megatron, which looks like you could do him for about $2,000, $1,700 if you did deposit. You could do actually $150 to $330 shipping. It's weird, the shipping him versus like Starscream. Not sure what's going on there. But just again, my complaint there with just the whole face head thing. This doesn't look like Megatron for me. That's my main complaint with this line. But otherwise, completely epic. And then really the last one I've got up here, again, I'm out on Sideshow, which generally is the place to be, to pick up Prime 1 studio pieces. Those Sideshow and Prime 1 have had some disagreements of late. But here you can see they've got, Megatron, Barricade. They've got all these different movie-inspired figures. They tend to be in like the $1,200 to $1,800 price range. It kind of grabs most of the collection. But they do some big epic pieces, like this Jet Power Optimus Prime was $3,000. This Shockwave, $2,700. But if you like the movies, right, and if you want the best of the movies, then these Prime 1 pieces are definitely the route you would go. I would say they're probably making the best overall Transformers statue. I just don't like the movies personally myself. The movie decos, I'd prefer G1. But yeah, Sideshow is going to be the place to pick these up, and Sideshow will have exclusives. Otherwise, Big Bad Toy Store is another place you would go to get these. And yeah, I mean, just look at these things. These are massive pieces. With this Jetfire Optimus Prime, for example, being 37 inches in height. So very, very large. I will call out the Prime 1 Studio store, as well as a place to get these, where you can also get the exclusives, again, direct from overseas, so you'll pay a heftier shipping tab, but you might find some deals out there. You might find some things in stock there that aren't in the States. For example, I'm just going through some of their sales right now. This Ultimate Optimus Prime looks like Age of Extinction or last night, typically $2,000, now $1,300. Yes, you'll have to ship that in still, but pretty good deal there. They do have some variants. Sometimes they have gone away from the Bayverse. They do have this G1 inspired contemporary piece. They had it marked down to $650. It looks like it sold out on sale. So this was their take on G1 Deco, but unfortunately they only ever did the Optimus and the Megatron. They retailed for about $1,000 a piece here in the States. Again, you could find them on eBay, I'm sure, as well. They're cool. Personally, I didn't exactly love the deco relative to G1 that they were going for. But again, it was an option. Here they did a Nemesis variant. Here's the Megatron. Like the Megatron is still available for $678 from overseas plus shipping. So again, very contemporary sort of G1 style deco to it. But they only ever did those two pieces. Here you can see they've got some movie pieces with Lockdown out here, Jazz, some decent deals. Galvatron, big sale. And I was looking, but I don't see they also did a couple Beast War pieces, a Megatron Beast Wars, which is very popular. You need to go on eBay. It'll be going in aftermarket prices, much higher than retail, which is like $1,000. And there's Optimus Primal as well. He's typically a little bit easier to find, but he's not out here at the moment. And the latest pieces they're doing are the Bumblebee movies, where they've got the Optimus Prime, and they've got the Soundwave as well. And they're each like $2,000 a piece. And again, probably the biggest, baddest, coolest representations of those pieces that you can get right now in statue format. That's what you go to Prime 1 for. Big movie-verse Transformers figures. And then the last thing I'll mention, just because it's news and I'm interested to see what this news will bring, is Queen Studios, which is an epic statue company. They do a lot of life-size busts, half-scale figures, so like really large, relatively expensive things. Not the price range of some of the things that we've been talking about here towards the end. But things that are going to be probably closer to like 2Gs, something like that, $1,500, $2,000. See a lot of these life-size collectibles with the Batman busts and the Wonder Woman shield. They got like that half-scale Wonder Woman, so just big stuff. And here they announced that they've got the Transformers license. So they've got across the board the movie licenses, and they also mentioned in there that they've got a G1 license. So I don't know what that means. Are they going to do Transformers busts? Are they going to do really large Transformers statues? We'll just need to wait and see, and I'll be interested to see exactly what that is. Because if you're looking towards the higher end of the spectrum, again, for me, someone like me, Prime 1's kind of out, really, because I don't want movie stuff. Sort of leaves like XM and Imaginarium Art, but I have my complaints with both of those, so I just want to wait and see, okay, what would Queen Studios do with a G1 type piece. Don't know, but worth mentioning here just as a last piece of the puzzle, and maybe something to be patient for if you're looking at really putting some iconic pieces into your collection. That's it, guys. That's my overview of sort of the Transformers collectible lineup. We've kind of ranged stuff from like $150 all the way up to $3,000, and we've ranged stuff from very high cartoon accuracy and cell shading all the way up to strictly Bayverse movies and everything in between, and scales ranging probably from 10 inches up to 30 inches. So this is really, I think, the broad playground. And again, depending on what you're looking for, some of these things are kind of, you need to get now or getting POs in now. And a few things in here, I try to not do too much, but a few things maybe you need to go to like an eBay and sort of go back into the aftermarket and see if you can get a decent price. And again, links down in the description below: Sideshow, eBay, Amazon. Any shopping, you those links. Supports channel, no cost to you, so thanks very much for that. Definitely recommend kind of checking all those different sites out that I mentioned if you're looking to shop and just find the best price for yourself. All right, guys, so thanks for checking out this Transformers high-end collectible and statue video share out and just overview. Just wanted to share some of my thoughts and my research because I've got some of the things here that we've talked about today, but I'm looking to kind of move up a bit more in pure statues or some G1 inspired Transformers, but still haven't exactly made up my mind just what that looks like yet. But hopefully it's helpful and interesting at least. So thanks again, and I'll see you next time.